Hi Clyde, thank you so much for joining us for Ordinary Stories. This is quite important for me, this particular conversation, because it's the last interview of the 40 that I will have done, and it's just lovely to spend some time with you. Please just introduce yourself to us.
I'm Clyde Williams, and I'm married to Joan. We have three daughters and 6 grandchildren who are absolute joy for us both, and we're looking forward to spending Easter with them. We've been at Emmanuel since about 1984, almost making it about 40 years, and we've seen the church develop. And one of the things during that period was that Joan became the first female warden of the church, and it was during a time when just after the church was extended, and believe it or not, we as a congregation we all went to United Reform and used United Reform Church as our own, and then we came back to Emmanuel when part of it had been completed, the concourse. And what was interesting, at the time we had 2 missionaries from South America, and the presence of the Holy Spirit during that time was almost palpable. And it might have been because not only the missionaries, but because it was the core of the congregation which were ready to move to pray and in another church, and then came back together, and there was a sense of togetherness which quite a unique experience. So we've been part of the church from the days when they had a formal choir and choir stalls and so forth, right to the present time, and we've valued our church family enormously.
Amazing, thank you. And you know that we're here to talk about our wonderful God, and it would be just great if you could share what difference He's made to your life.
Well, I concur indeed. We have a wonderful God, and the blessings we have, both known and unknown, and many times we realize some of the unknown blessings are maybe greater than the known blessings. So one of the things which has affected people like myself, and whether a young person or middle age and beyond, is about what God's will is for you, and what direction does God want your life to take. I've been, I think a Christian since my going to Sunday school in my local chapel, right until the present time. But of course, like most things, your faith ebbs and flows depending on the challenges which life throws at you. And many times you wonder about direction. Is God really giving me some direction? And I related to the story when Joan and I were driving somewhere and we were given instructions to carry on this particular road, and it'll be signpost where you have to turn off. We went for miles and miles, and we kept worrying that we hadn't had the right instructions, and said, well, just stick with it, and the road went on, and eventually there was a sign saying turn to that. We followed the instructions and off it went. Well, in many ways God speaks to us like that, and in the sense says, keep on going and I'll tell you when you have to turn. So one experience I had when I was a student in Aberystwyth, I had trained as a teacher and had a job offer as a chemistry master in a traditional grammar school in Wiltshire, and I also had the opportunity at the same time to go back to my own town, in a small town in South Wales, where there was an American pharmaceutical company. I'd worked there for a while and had the opportunity to go back there, get a job, progress as a chemist, and live with the family and friends in my own town. So I decided I would not take the job as a teacher, but try and get back and enjoy the family after being away for 4 years. So I got on a bus in Aberystwyth, ready to go down to South Wales, do the interview and come back. So when I got on this bus, there was hardly anybody in the bus, and I don't know why. There was a choice of seats, but I sat down, and next to me on the seat was an open copy of the Reader's Digest, and it was open at an article on the life of Jesus. So I picked it up and read it, and by the time I finished it, we'd arrived at our first stop, a little village called Lampeter, and without even giving it a thought, I picked up my bag, got off the bus, and hitchhiked all the way back to Aberystwyth. And when I arrived, John said, "What's happening?" I said, we're going to go and become a teacher. I felt that God is leading me in this direction. So off we went, and life carried on, I taught. And then, so that was a major turning point. And another one was to decide, once I'd come back from America, where I was doing research, to go to Aberdeen, to the university there. And this was a tough time because it's, again, couldn't go further away from your family, so
Yes.
the annoyance of my family and Joan's family, that taking their only granddaughter away. So this another turning point came in terms of help to do this, and in a sense reinforcing me in the right direction. I went to London to attend a conference, and I took time out from the conference, have a break, went to a bookshop. I walked into the bookshop, went straight to a shelf, took a book which attracted me off the shelf, and it was called The Christian Response by a Catholic priest, Michel Quost. And I read it, never went back to the conference, spent my time reading the book, got back to Aberdeen, and shortly after getting home, so some friends introduced us to Crown Terrace Baptist Church, where we had a wonderful fellowship. I ran the youth club, the Saturday night youth club. Joan produced the newsletter. My daughters folded it and helped deliver it, and so on and so forth. And without that fellowship, I don't think I would have survived, because the environment, the academic environment, was quite toxic at times. And so then we carried on following God's guidance and so on. And then I got a phone call saying, we want somebody to come to Loughborough to set up the Department of Sports Science. Are you interested? And so what's the Loughborough? So the message is that God speaks to us about which ways he wants us to go and what he wants to do, and it may not be the conventional ways of a Sunday morning sermon. It can be all ways, and God uses all kinds of methods to communicate with us. We just have to listen and be sensitive to his promptings.
So I've got a question. You talk about these two promptings, the life of Jesus in the Reader's Digest, and then a strange moment where you make a beeline for a book that is all about the Christian response. After each of those moments, it sounds to me that something happened that brought you closer to Jesus on your walk with him. Did you make those connections at the time?
Well, I think what I found was a deepening of my faith or trust. That sort of reinforcing, yes, this is what I've got to do. And there was no wavering, this is what I've got to do, because having had those experiences, my job then was just to carry on until I'm told to do something else.
Yes.
And many times, we can, when we're looking for direction or we're looking for trying to listen to God's voice, that we become a bit impatient and want to be reinforced all the while, and in the sense of the trust is calm down, carry on. I'll tell you when you went to move. It's like the children asking you for. Wait, I'll tell you. Trust me. I know where we're going.
I think in life has probably always been like this, but it feels more so in our modern world that there are just so many choices, and it can be quite overwhelming actually. And so, what I'm getting from what you're saying is just fix your eyes on Jesus and keep walking.
That's right. I think there, as you say, there are multiple of choices and distractions. And I think this is where silence or quiet time is very important, even if it's just a few minutes. But I think you have to, well, for me, I have to make time to listen and stop talking. So, I mean, even praising, you can, take a break and just listen to that still small voice and be able to discern that. And that comes with, of course, with practice. But if you try, I think that it sensitizes you to that still small voice, and things will come to mind. So I've got to go and do this. I just feel this overwhelming need to go and fulfill some task, and I just feel that's a response to the still small voice.
Yes. So, to conclude, do you have a particular verse or bit of encouragement, word that you've held particularly dear to you in the past or now?
Yes, well, the phrase which always comes back to me when I ask this question is, seek ye first God's kingdom, and everything then will come to you. And you can unpack that in, go on doing, there's so many layers there. And as you get older and more mature in your Christian faith, it means you can unpack another layer and say, that's what it means. So it's always there. What does it mean to seek God's kingdom? So that's the verse which always comes back to me time and time again.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Clyde.